Hey guys, what's going on? Nozilla outside our garage. Back finally again, 2023, first video in a long time. That's hopefully going to change. Really trying to force myself to make some time to get back into making content. And after SEMA, things kind of shifted a little bit with the landscape of my life, careers, etc. And we've been focusing quite a bit more on other areas other than YouTube and content. But that's all going to change, and I'm going to try to be more consistent with getting videos up. This particular video is very exciting for me, and also always glad and happy to share with everybody. I'm sure you guys have kind of been following around and saw that I was making some changes with my fuel system in my car. Gonna circle back a little bit before that. We'll go back to I guess it was August, September area last year. Got the car on the dyno to do some ethanol runs, and this was before we were going to SEMA. I wanted to make sure the thing was, laying down some decent power before we went out there. But at the same time, didn't want to take any risks, so told the tuner to kind of keep it conservative. I was thinking in my mind, like, let's just shoot out like 750 horsepower or something like that, just to make me feel good about the situation. And things went a little bit crazier than planned, and we ended up pushing down just about 900 rear wheel horsepower at like 29.5 pounds. And the car is just, the engine is just so incredibly efficient that we haven't seen any decline in power at peak RPM yet. So this thing is going to continue to make power and eat probably up into the 1,100-1,200 horsepower range. So one of our concerns that we had on the dyno was the fuel system. Again, I know I've been here. This was like, I feel like I've been talking about this for years now. And I got the car back after SEMA. I took a really kind of hard look at the fuel system. Did some more research online. I decided to change some things up with how my plumbing was set up, and I was still having some issues. And honestly, I don't really want to get into that. I don't want to make this thing about like a drama between myself and companies and things like that to provide products. This was my experience, and at the time, I went down a path that I believed at the time was the best path for me to go down, and I enjoyed the path. It was fun learning about the system, but there was just so much back and forth and complexities that I kind of got to the point this year that I was just kind of over it, I guess, and looking for a much more modern, easier solution to make big power. And again, going back to the original idea, like I wanted to have a pump, fuel pump, and a fuel system set up that literally I could just one pump. I didn't want to have multi-pump or multi-stage pump setups. And at the time, Brushless was kind of like coming into the game, but like they weren't quite there yet. And I didn't want to run like 3 standard pumps. And again, like this is something that you can do. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It was just, this is what I had in my head is what I wanted to do, right? So I went down my path and I've decided to change that. And one of the big reasons is now that the technology is there. Incredible technology for brushless fuel pumps. And this has kind of come onto the scene the past few years, and really, I would say probably this past year, we're starting to see some huge, like massive brushless pump setups that are just absolutely ridiculous. Like the horsepower, the support. Some of these like single pump units support like 2,500 something odd horsepower, and I mean even on ethanol, it's like let's say like 15 to 1,700 horsepower on ethanol. So obviously my eye has been going that route, and there's like a few companies that do this, obviously, and Fuelab is, in my opinion, at the top, right? They are putting out some incredible products, and I have one of their brushless pumps in my car right now. I'm just running it as a pickup to assist the rest of the fuel system, and that has just been, it's just a great pump, you know? It holds so many advantages, and I've done videos of this stuff in the past, but the thing that really is, I'm looking at it right now at the box, is the thing that I'm really excited about is this Pro Series, you know, inline variable speed spur gear pump from Fuelab. And this thing is massive. When I say massive, it is like a gigantic external fuel pump. And if you're the type of person who needs to have all the fuel, basically, this is the pump that you're going to want to run. As I understand so far from speaking with Fuelab, is the only really thing that you need to do to accommodate this in your fuel system is to have an appropriate, you know, alternator battery setup in order to support the amp draw that it does when it's running at max RPM. So I actually have a DC power 270 amp alternator in my car. I'm still trying to sort out my battery issues, so that'll be for another day, but for right now the battery is what it is. But I feel pretty confident that, you know, when the car is running, that there'll be plenty of amps to go around. So anywho, I got a whole fuel system here. I have held back from opening any of the stuff up. I haven't broken the seals. Super excited. I want to share this with you guys, and then hopefully later this week we'll get an install video done. I can do first startups, and then we got to take the car back yet again to get another tune. This time done with hopefully the correct fuel pressure, and let's see what this thing can do compared to the other one. All right, I'm gonna spin her around. All right, so got some goodies here. Boys at Fuelab sent me another nice t-shirt. You'll see me wearing this at events this year. Fuelab lanyards, of course. Of course, the most important part is the stickers. And then into the meat and potatoes. So what we have here is the main pump, and this is the external brushless spur gear pump. This is a 6 gallons per minute pump. We have 2 filters for our system. We're going to have a pre-pump and a post-pump filter. Now generally this is set up so that you can have the fuel filtered going into the pump so we don't damage the pump, and then we have another filter that will be specifically for the injectors. So this will be post-pump, and this will be to protect the injectors from contaminants that might be smaller than 100 microns. So generally speaking, when you go ethanol, you're going to run like a 6 micron fiberglass type of fuel element filter that will give that extra protection. And then the big boy maximum bypass fuel regulator from Fuelab as well. This supports massive amount of fuel flow, and again, this is being paired with this pump to make sure we don't have any fuel pressure issues at all. All right, so let's open some cool stuff. So here we have the 100 micron Fuelab 10 an in, 10 an out. This pump actually has this filter actually has a check valve integrated in it as well, and this is the 100 micron stainless steel element filter. So again, guys, this would be the type of filter that you would be running pre-pump to protect your external pump. Yeah, this is a sizable filter. Wow. So absolutely fantastic fit and finish when you're just looking at the product from the outside. The black anodization and the laser etching of the Fuelab logo is absolutely fantastic. It is clearly marked which is the outlet. This is the outlet side, and this has a 10 an inlet and outlet. And it looks like this is actually integrated itself into the inlet. That's really neat. And then this piece right here looks like it is a removable, and it could potentially be replaced with like a 12 or a 14 AN unit if you wanted to go that big. So we're gonna have to figure out a whole new fuel diagram for this and make sure we have all the parts, and it's gonna be a fun install. So here's the tank. It also comes with some basic clamps to put that in your fuel system, either onto the car or in the trunk, or let's go right to the other fuel filter. Now I imagine this is going to probably look pretty similar. The main difference is that this filter is going to have a 6 micron fiberglass element rather than the 100 micron stainless steel element. And again, as I mentioned before, this is going to be post-pump pre-injectors. And this thing is massive too. Wow. If you have any concerns about 2,500 horsepower worth of fuel being restricted by a filter, I think that they have alleviated all those issues with this. This is bigger than most external fuel pumps that I've seen. Wow. And again, 10 AN in, 10 AN out. This is incredible. So yeah, this is going to be the post pump filter. And now here we have this is the max bypass fuel pressure regulator. This guy is meant for lots and lots of fuel, being able to bleed off pressure. So this has been paired with this brushless spur gear pump. You can't just put a traditional fuel pressure regulator on a fuel system like this, because it would simply get overwhelmed by the amount of flow, and you'd end up having higher than normal fuel pressures, potentially damage the fuel pressure regulator. So we got a little mount here with some hardware, O-rings, and yeah, this is a big unit as well. So everything that I'm seeing here, guys, is like big horsepower, big parts. So we have big filters, big pressure regulator, and what I'm assuming is going to be very big pump as well. This is not your typical fuel pressure regulator that you're used to seeing, you know, like a Tomei or an Aeromotive. This is I mean, you can feel it in your hands. This thing is big. It is beefy, and you can just see by the ports for the inlet and outlet, and actually getting a chance to actually look inside and seeing how it bypasses the fuel and how much area is there is incredible. This is a very nice piece. A very nice piece. I'm excited, really excited to install this stuff and see this in action. Okay, now the box that I've been waiting for for a while, and it's been sitting on my desk here for the past day, and I've been very tempted to open this thing up because I wanted to look at this, but let's look at it together and check it out. I don't think there's very many of these out in circulation right now, and it is an expensive pump, but it is also one of the most badass brushless electric fuel pumps on the market, if not the most badass. This is a spur gear pump. And again, 6 gallons per minute of fuel. We're talking 2,500 plus horsepower on gasoline. It's probably somewhere between 1,500 and 1,700 horsepower capable on ethanol. This, again, like I can't wait to install it. I can't wait to hear it. My car, as you guys know, it makes all sorts of noises. There is no heat, there is no air conditioning, there is no radio, there is no amenities on the inside other than having a carpet. But I love the sounds, the driving experience. Now that we have the Samsonus sequential transmission, you hear the straight cut gears with the dog engagement. You hear the engine, you hear the titanium exhaust, And now on top of that, we're going to be adding adding to the symphony, and this will be spinning in the background, making more beautiful noises. Okay, so we have our clamps, a whole bunch of instructions and operating installation instructions. And here we go. Get this out of the way. And again, this is big, and it is impressive. Warning: for continuous duty street or idle operation over 15 minutes, fuel pump must be operating in reduced speed mode, or damage to pump may occur due to overheating. Read and follow the supplied installation and operating instructions. So yeah, again, that makes sense. When you buy a brushless pump, you are going to be able to maximize the efficiency and output of the pump by hooking this up to an aftermarket ECU that is capable of modulating the voltage. So you can literally take advantage of one of the coolest features of a brushless pump. And that's by, you can spin it down if you want to idle, and you can spin it up if you want power. So you, instead of having to have multiple pumps, have one constantly on, and then have multiple other pumps that are staged as you increase your duty cycle and your boost horsepower, this essentially, you can add to it, you can add voltage to it, you can increase the amount of current, and you can spin the pump to have a higher RPM, and at the higher RPM, it'll flow more fuel. So we can spin this real down low at idle, and then as our load increases and our boost increases, we can spin up the pump to match the output that's required. Very, 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 very cool stuff. This is the pinnacle of technology in fuel pumps right now. Wow. Yeah. This is, yeah, it's just about as big as the filter that goes with it. This thing is enormous. And again, just an absolute gorgeous, beautiful fit and finish. I'll bring this up a little bit further so you guys can take a look. This has a nice kind of like matte black anodized look to it with the laser etched Fuelab logo on it. Yeah, so this unit appears to have, let's see, I would say 12 or 14 AN. This looks like probably 12 AN orb for an inlet, and it's looking like a 10 outlet as well. This thing, seriously so excited to get this thing dialed in and set up on the car. Lay everything out here and we can take a look at how beautiful this fuel system is going to be. Before we close down this video, I just want to go on and mention that Fuelab doesn't just make gigantic horsepower fuel pumps and system accessories like regulators and filters as well. They have an entire product line full of much more realistic, smaller brushless fuel pumps that will fit in tank, and they will support anywhere from your basic OEM setup to 700-800 horsepower with a single in-tank pump. So that is something that I would seriously consider looking at if you're getting into your fuel system right now, or perhaps you want to upgrade your fuel system. Take advantage of some more modern technology. This is, I always say this, I can't stress it enough, but I mean, on my build, that's what I wanted. I wanted a RB. I wanted to have that quintessential, Nissan Skyline engine, but I also wanted to have it be technologically up to date. And that's a lot of the reasons why we do a lot of the drive-by-wire stuff and work with Haltech and Fuelab, is because we want to have the best possible performance, the best possible longevity and consistency from these engines as we possibly can. So look into Fuelab, look into their brushless pumps. Can't stress it enough. It's a fantastic company. They're making probably the best fuel pumps on the market right now. And as far as this pump right here, I don't think there's anything else there out on the market like it. So I'll leave it at that, and hopefully the next video is the installation. I've got a lot of planning to do, and hopefully I have enough the correct fittings and lines to get all the stuff hooked up right the way that I want to. And then I will have the car out at Pandafest in I think it's June 4th, Princeton Airport, New Jersey. And after that, it's dyno time. Hopefully make some bigger numbers this time, and then it's track time.